my name is Riley, and I will be presenting my research article done. And the one that I did was by Jane D. Lead. It was the experiences of college students on the autism spectrum, and it was a comparison to their neurotypical peers. So the summary is a comparative research study between other disabilities and their non-disabled neurotypical peers. So there were three groups of people, autism spectrum, disabilities, and then disabled. And what the study was really set out for was to describe the academic, social, and health experience of college students on the autism spectrum and how there's differences, what there's a significance difference between non-disabled, disabilities, and then students on the autism spectrum. And so they did an online survey over the period of 8 weeks, and there were a total of 3,216 students collected, and they were all from 14 different public institutions. So the key results that were from the study were the rates of physical and verbal bullying were higher for students with disabilities than for neurotypical students. Students on the spectrum and students with disabilities reported poorer health than neurotypical students on most indicators. One that I thought was kind of interesting was they tended to be heavier drinkers. So those with different types of disabilities, other than the autism spectrum students, those students were, they tested higher on drinking than the neurotypical students. The other one that I thought was important to note was that students on the spectrum and with disabilities reported lower quality social relationship than neurotypical students. So this was all kind of showing significance of how students with disabilities, along with students of the autism spectrum, have a harder experience when it comes to both academic and social, along with health experiences. So the way this kind of challenged me was I was able to kind of think about my own career and how I would want to make a classroom more supportive and inclusive, and just a few points I thought of was maybe more engagement in classrooms, of trying to, instead of having just like a table, have like it be joined with everyone of all types of disabilities, non-disability students. And then also I would want probably more participation of the classroom and like activities done, social support events and outside programs to help kind of bring in a more relationship towards these students who are trying to learn in their education but are having a harder time. And a lot of this reflects on the classroom. And so I chose this article because I was super proud of these students just continuing their education. I know our society that we live in now makes it pretty easy and like not expected for kids with disabilities, especially those on the autism spectrum, to continue college or to college. And then it also, I just thought it shows, especially with everything we're learning in the course content of Psychology 354, it shows the importance of an all-inclusive school environment for students of disabilities. And it really enhanced the pressure these students face and how their learning environment affects all aspects of their life. So my personal critique on this article was, I first off was curious on how this would look if it was done in like an elementary or high school study, with those being like younger ages participants. The other thing was this study took place at a 2-year, so community college, and a 4-year institution. So that was pretty different of expectations, I'd say. So I was curious. I went to community college, so I have noticed a slight difference between San Marcos and MiraCosta, but I'm curious of like if they just focused on 2 years or just 4 years, what it would look like. And then I also noticed that they did not really include a diverse group, or they didn't even mention like certain ethnicities of the students that could bring on another social challenge along with their education. And then one problem that I did have was I didn't particularly love that it was such a wide, broad participation pool of study. So they had all of like different types of disabilities, ADHD, dyslexia, learning developments, and then there was autistic disorders, and then there were non-disabled students. So I felt like this, if they narrowed it down, it'd be interesting to see what the results would have shown, along with what better judgments they would make in order to increase their experience. Thank you.